Hi everyone, Kathy Buccio here, host of the South Florida PBS Health Channel. And today we have Anna Stewart with us. She is the manager at Drowning Prevention Coalition of Palm Beach County. She has been there since 2003, first as its coordinator and now as its manager since February 2007. And under her guidance, the coalition has been locally recognized via TV, radio, and newspaper, as well as nationwide by the National Water Safety Congress for its outstanding efforts, accomplishments, and contributions to water safety. Anna currently sits on the board of directors for the National Water Safety Congress on Region 3 Vice President. She also serves on numerous committees with Palm Beach County, like the Child Abuse Death Review Team and Safe Kids Coalition. Her background as a crime scene investigator and a near-drowning survivor also has given her a unique perspective in her current line of work. Thank you for joining us, Anna. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so you actually are a survivor. So how has your background as a near-fatal survivor shaped that perspective and approach to be an advocate for water safety?
Well, believe it or not, I almost drowned chicken fighting when I was 8 years old at a party at my neighbor's house. And my mom thought my dad was watching. My dad thought my mom was watching.
Wow.
And guess what? No one was watching. So as a child, I have to say it was very traumatic because I came away from this event with, how can my parents let this happen to me? Do they not love me anymore? So, it was very psychologically damaging. I'm not going to lie about that. But I have to say that I tell this story when I'm actually out in the public to let them know that this is something that I've experienced and I don't ever want this to happen to another child. So I kind of have my own spin and take on things in the fact that I am a non-fatal drowning survivor, and I want to prevent children from doing, this kind of risky behavior.
Anna, that's so heartbreaking, but it's also so scary, not just as a child or a caregiver parent, because how many of those drowning or near drowning stories start with, I thought you were watching him, or I thought you were watching her. No, it was you. And then unfortunately, something happens at the end.
Unfortunately, it happens all the time. And I get that a lot when I'm out doing presentations, especially, with people that I come in contact with who's actually lost somebody to a drowning. It's like, oh, it only took me a second, or I thought this person was watching and I thought that person was watching and no one was watching. Unfortunately, it's all too common, actually.
Now, you also collaborate with local and national organizations to bring awareness to water safety and to advance those water safety efforts, because it's something that as we need to know, not just as a parent or a caregiver or a child, but as a community as well. So how do you do that, Anna?
To be honest, the biggest way is really being a breakout session speaker at the yearly water safety conferences that occur, and informing attendees pretty much how our organization goes about educating the public about drowning prevention. And networking at all of these types of events is really crucial in order to share each other's best water safety practices and strategies. And, social media is a really good way to collaborate by posting each other's messaging on the various platforms.
And I feel as a parent, this conversation, I mean, my children are now 13 and 9, and I still worry about even if they swim. I remember moving back to South Florida, the first thing I did was enroll both my kids in swimming classes because I was so deathly afraid of the percentage of how high a percentage was, especially in South Florida. We're surrounded by water on our area. And I think that's a really big misconception too. And I think that we all need to be ready. So what are some of the misconceptions that you normally see when it comes to drowning prevention? I mean, is earlier the better, or do we need survival, more of like a survival skill for young children?
So, that's a great question. So I've been doing this for 21 years, right? And so the biggest misconceptions are a drowning is never going to happen to me because I know how to swim. I don't need to learn how to swim because I don't go to the beach or the pool. My child won't drown because I'm always watching them. Floaties are safe on my child's arm, and my child is drown proof. Those are the most common misconceptions that I hear. So it's really important for us as an organization to tell people that no, these are really misconceptions. And this is the reality of the situation that regardless of your age, race, gender, socioeconomic background, and swimming capability, everybody is susceptible to drowning. I mean, even if you don't go to the pool or you don't go to the ocean, do you drive a car? Because we do get a lot of situations where motor vehicles end up in bodies of water and that person ends up drowning. So there's a myriad of ways that drowning incidents can occur. So you do have to recognize that it can happen to you at any time.
Yes, let's absolutely stress that. Thank you, Anna, for clearing those misconceptions. I think that's the main one. I hear that one often as well, especially when I say I'm still watching my kids because even though they know how to swim,
Right.
anything can happen, correct? And it's like, oh, but they
Yeah.
swim. And you're like, that's what doesn't matter.
It's true. And one of the things that I do in my presentations is I take your two pointer fingers, put one above your nose, one below your mouth, bring your two fingers further in front of your face and stop. Do you see a space between your two fingers? That's all the water it takes for you personally to drown. And that's 2 inches of water, but people don't think of drowning in those terms.
Wow. That I mean that's probably pretty astounding when you do that exercise. Now I want to talk about the role of community. That's so important. The role of community and how do they play in awareness when it comes to preventing drownings?
It's huge. And that's pretty much the basis of our organization. We do a lot of community education programs to inform people about the proactive strategies to keep individuals water safe and water smart. And that's year round. In South Florida, drownings happen year around. It's not just during the summertime. So, for example, we talk about it only takes 2 inches of water for a person to drown, but also the importance of vigilant supervision that vigilant supervision can break down. You can't watch somebody 24 hours a week, 7 days a week. So it's really important to have those layers of protection in place in case supervision fails. And what about in the middle of the night? Your child could feasibly get up in the middle of the night and go out that door, sliding glass door, whatever it is. And if there's no alarm, you have no idea whether or not somebody has come in or exited the premises. So it's really important to discuss the general water hazards that exist inside and outside the home. And I really feel that community education initiatives really provide that valuable resource to the community. And we do talk about the importance of knowing how to swim, where you can get affordable swimming lessons. To get educational materials, you can come to our organization. We can give you checklists. So we're really kind of that water safety hub for anybody who has questions about drowning prevention.
I want to dive in there, no pun intended. I want to dive into what you talked about and those programs. I think that's so valuable to have these programs in the community that can help children and parents. I mean, this is the most almost comical but embarrassing story. I was taught to swim by my father who doesn't swim. So that should just tell you many things. So these programs to me are so key. And I think it's not just for kids, but for parents as well and caregivers to learn about water safety. So do you have those programs and which ones do you find are the most effective?
Well, we actually go into the elementary schools, the middle schools, the high schools, HOAs, businesses, anybody who's willing to listen to us talk, we go for free to do a land-based water safety presentation. And we found that actually having a hands-on approach to teaching water safety is most effective. I think, in the past couple of years, PowerPoint presentations kind of have become the norm. And we're old school. I use posters. We use props for presentations. We have the kids come up on stage and hold the flags and things of that nature. So we really try to get the involvement of the adults, the teachers, and the kids because we find that is more effective being old school than new school, and that's the easiest way to really get our information across to the public. It's more fun to learn that way too, and not just sitting and going, another PowerPoint presentation,
Well, let's take it a step further because I also think it's best to learn when you're in the environment. So, are there any programs that allow you to actually get in a pool? Or maybe you're at a beach and, sometimes you watch these lifeguards do their own exercises, but are there programs that will really put you front and center with like what would you do if you're in this situation? This is the best way to if you feel like you're drowning, do you turn around? What's offered in that department?
So our organization, as I mentioned, we go out and we do the educational component where we actually teach people, what do you do if you find somebody drowning? And also the importance of going to that lifeguarded beach. If you have to drive those extra 10 minutes, swim in front of that lifeguard because there are flags there that tell you what the conditions are of the water. There are free reduced cost swimming lessons throughout Palm Beach County. So people can come and ask me or call me and just say, hey, what is the closest facility to where I live where I can get swimming lessons for myself and for my children? Or for that matter, I have a teenager that needs a job. Where can I get them a lifeguard certification? So there are opportunities that are out there for the public at large to get swimming lessons, as well as to become a water safety instructor or lifeguard for free. So there are those opportunities there. Just we recommend people calling our office to get that information.
And do you find challenges or do you have any challenges when it comes to implementing these drowning prevention programs?
Yes, I do have to say that we're a two-person organization for all of Palm Beach County. So two people for 1.5 million people. We need all the help that we can get.
Isn't adding up here.
This is why we say anybody we come in contact with, please become a water safety advocate. So, when we provide educational materials to other agencies, when they go do health and safety fairs, we ask them, hey, can you please put our materials on your table? So when we go out and we educate the public and the kids, we ask them, tell this information to everybody that because it can happen to you, right? So we also have materials that we hand out at health and safety fairs, and we have a lot of partnering agencies that we come in contact with, and we give them our materials. So when they go out to health and safety fairs that we're not a part of, they can also distribute our life-saving information.
Absolutely. Okay, so I feel like I need to make a call as well for more advocates, especially those to come join the coalition. But in addition to more advocates and in place, are there new technologies and strategies that might being worked on that could be developed that could really help when it comes to water safety and drowning prevention too, Anna?
Well, there are still devices that are out there. They have like smart life jackets now where companies are developing life jackets and vests and wristbands that are embedded with like these sensors that can detect when a person falls into a body of water. There's GPS enabled devices. I know that there's AI based drowning detection systems, video analytics for pool safety, rescue drones. There's so many things that are on the market, to be honest, but we really just have to go back to the basics, in my opinion, because that's all fancy schmancy stuff that the average layman can't really afford, right? So we just say, hey, make sure you go and buy a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket that fits properly. Get those alarms or sensors that go on your doors that go beep, beep, beep when the door opens and closes. You have toilet lid locks that prevent babies from entering, the toilet to gain access to them. There's also pool fences that are really important that aren't astronomically expensive. Pool covers. I mean, there's so many devices that are out there that, you need to use in conjunction with supervision. Never swimming alone. Don't ever swim by yourself. Always have somebody with you. So that way, in case of an emergency, they are there to help you. Things of those nature. So yeah, there's a lot of technology that is out there, but I personally feel just for the average layman, just like those quick devices that I mentioned can be utilized like right now that don't cost a lot of money, if that makes sense.
Because I have you and I have access to you. So when we talk about when you go out to schools and when you go out to different venues or events where you're speaking, Anna, one of the big things that always comes up in the misconception, or as we talk about the pool fences, alarms, a Coast Guard approved life saving device. So many families use floating devices, and this is something, as you mentioned earlier, these are not safe. I mean, it actually research has shown that so many of them are known to have caused that false sense of security as well. I mean, is this a big topic when you go into schools, especially, or when you're speaking to the community? Because I mean, they're still on the shelves. Let's be quite honest. So, how do you tackle that conversation?
Basically, I come out and say floaties are bad. Any type of flotation device that's not US Coast Guard approved is horrible. Because I say, it's interesting you bring that up because floaties are the worst thing known to man. That's what I tell people. And I'm like, I equate floaties to a balloon. Would you go to a dollar store, blow up a balloon, attach a string to it, and then put it on your arm? You would think I'm absolutely nuts, right? And that's what floaties are. They're balloons. And people think that they're doing the right thing for their child. Their intentions are pure. They're just not educated about the dangers of floaties.
Yeah.
And so that's what our education is all about. And we talk to the kids about the floaties because they're wearing them. And I say, get rid of the floaties. And so they, in turn, I love it when we interact with these students. I mean, I'm talking elementary school, middle school, and high school kids, because they're watching their younger brothers and sisters. This is information that people don't necessarily think about because they're not aware. So when we go in and we talk about water safety to the children, we're telling them, hey, we're surrounded by water. You can't get away from water. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to prepare you. So it's really important that not just I talk about the importance of learning to swim, but the kids talk amongst themselves. They talk to their friends. They talk to their parents. I feel like combining education with advocacy and community involvement, it's a personal responsibility. If you ask somebody, do you know somebody who has drowned or had a non-fatal drowning experience? You wouldn't believe the amount of people that go up and just say, my cousin's friend or my grandmother's, sisters. It's just everybody seems to have known somebody that has had a non-fatal drowning incident or who's actually suffered a drowning. It's just kind of put away in people's minds. It's not until it actually directly affects them that people, they wake up and smell the coffee and want to do something about it. Our organization is about prevention, right? We're trying to be proactive and not reactive. And that's really what the general public needs to do in terms of making water activities, safe for everybody, is to be proactive and practice, being water safe and water smart.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you really focused in on that. So as we wrap, how can the public help? How can the public support the work that you are doing, that the community is doing? We want to continue to obviously offer this education and continue to make swimming or being in the water fun. As you said, we don't want to scare you, but we want to educate you and keep you safe. So what are ways that we can help you and help the organization?
Call me. Call me. My organization at 561-616-7068. I want to come to your homeowners association meeting. I want to come to your school. I want to come to your daycare. I want to come to your business. Have me come and talk about how to be water safe and water smart year round and help me on this journey. Tell everybody you know about the importance of drowning prevention. We live in South Florida. We're surrounded by water. You can't get away from it. As you put so eloquently, you want to be water safe, water smart, and be proactive. It's not something that has to be scary. Learning to swim, it's a recreational activity that everybody can enjoy, and it's not necessarily expensive. We spend all this money on, putting our kids in soccer and hockey and football and softball and all these great recreational activities, but none of them can save your life. Learning to swim can save your life, and county pools charge $60 for 8 lessons. How economical is that? That's fantastic. But when people search for swim lessons online, all the poshy, expensive swim lessons are what comes up on the internet, and that turns people away. And people don't recognize that the county and cities offer great swimming lesson opportunities for people that want to get better with their swim skills, or for individuals who don't know how to swim at all. So call me, please. That's what we're here for.
And it's the best investment you will absolutely make, not only for yourself, for your children. And as you said, I mean, we need more of that advocacy. We need more of that education, get the word out there, especially with those city-based swim lessons. I hear you. And I think that as a community, as parents, as caregivers, this is the greatest thing that we can do for each other. So thank you, Anna, for being with us on the Health Channel, for continuing to do the Lord's work, basically, because it's crucial. I mean, the same way that we go to a doctor and get a checkup, you really need to learn how to swim and learn the basics. So thank you for joining us here on the Health Channel.
Thank you.